For this video lecture, we're going to discuss Chapter 2 of the Conceptual Framework for Financial Reporting. But before starting with Chapter 2, which is the qualitative characteristic of useful financial information, let's have a recap of the Chapter 1, or the objective of general purpose financial reporting. To summarize Chapter 1, the, the decisions of primary users are based on assessments of an entity's prospects for future net cash inflows and management stewardship. To make these assessments, users need information on the entity's financial position, financial performance, and other changes in financial position and utilization of economic resources. Now that we've summarized Chapter 1, let's now dwell our attention with Chapter 2. So to formally introduce you to this chapter, what we expect here are the fundamental and the enhancing qualitative characteristics of useful financial information. So qualitative characteristics, so these identify the types of information that are likely to be most useful to the primary users in making decision using an entity's financial report. Qualitative characteristics apply to information in the financial statements as well as to financial information provided in other ways. The conceptual framework classifies the qualitative characteristics into the following. First, you have your fundamental qualitative characteristics and your enhancing qualitative characteristics. For the fundamental, these are the characteristics that make information useful to users. They consist of relevance and faithful representation. For enhancing, these are the characteristics that enhance the usefulness of information. So you have your VCUT here. You have your verifiability, comparability, understandability, and timeliness. For your fundamental qualitative characteristic of relevance, information is relevant if it can make a difference in the decisions of users. Relevant information has the following: predictive value and confirmatory value. Predictive value is the information can help users in making predictions about future outcomes. Confirmatory value or feedback value is the information that can help users in confirming their previous predictions. Please take note that predictive value and confirmatory value are interrelated. Information that has predictive value is likely to also have confirmatory value. For example, revenue in the current period can be used to predict revenue in a future period, and at the same time can also be used in confirming a past prediction. So we have here a bolded word, materiality, although this is not an aspect of the fundamental qualitative characteristic, it is an entity-specific aspect of relevance. So to define it according to conceptual framework, chapter 2, paragraph 11, information is material if omitting, misstating, or obscuring it could reasonably be expected to influence decisions that the primary users of a specific reporting entity's general purpose financial statements make on the basis of those financial statements. The conceptual framework states that materiality is an entity-specific aspect of relevance, meaning materiality depends on the facts and circumstances surrounding a specific entity. Accordingly, the conceptual framework and the standards do not specify a uniform quantitative threshold for materiality. It is a matter of judgment. IFRS Practice Statement 2, Making Materiality Judgments, provides a non-mandatory guidance that entities may follow in making materiality judgment. The guidance consists of a 4-step process called the materiality process. So for here, you have 4 steps. For step 1, you have your identify. For your 2, you have your assess. For 3, you have your organize. And last, you have your review. So step one, or the identify step, what you have to do here is to identify information that has the potential to be material. The starting point in making the identification is the requirements of the standard. This is because when developing standards, the IESB identifies the information needs of a wide range of primary users and considers the balance between the benefits to be derived from the information and the cost of producing it. However, cost is not a factor when making materiality judgments. The entity also considers the common information needs of its primary users in addition to those specified in the IFRS. For step two, what you have to do is to assess whether the information identified in step one is in fact material. In making this assessment, the entity considers the following. First, whether the information could influence the user's decisions on the basis of the financial statements as a whole. Second, the item's nature or size, or both. Third, your quantitative and qualitative factors. For your quantitative factors, it includes the size of the impact of the item. The size of an item can be assessed in relation to a percentage of another amount. For example, your percentage of total assets or total revenues, or a threshold amount. For example, your capitalization threshold. For your qualitative factors, these are characteristics of the item or its context. Examples of which are the entity-specific qualitative factors, like your involvement of a related party or rarity of the item. Another example is your external qualitative factors. To give you a prime example of this, these are the entity's industry sector or the state of the economy. Although there is no hierarchy among materiality factors, an entity normally first assesses an item on the basis of quantitative factors. If an item is quantitatively material, the entity need not reassess it on the basis of qualitative factors. However, if an item is quantitatively not material, the entity needs to assess it on the basis of qualitative factors. For example, an item that has a zero amount, so if it is a zero amount, it is not quantitatively material. It may nevertheless be considered material in light of qualitative factors. So there might be a reason why the amount is zero. So we have to assess that one. So your third step, you organize the information within the draft financial statements in a way that it communicates the information clearly and concisely to primary users. The entity exercises judgment on how to present information in a manner that maximizes understandability to the primary users. And your last step, after organizing it in a draft financial statement, you have to review the draft financial statements to determine whether all material information has been identified and materiality considered from a wide perspective and in aggregate on the basis of the complete set of financial statements. The review allows the entity to step back and get a wider perspective of the information provided. This is necessary because an item might not be material on its own, but it might be material if used in conjunction with the other information in the complete set of financial statements. So these are, again, this is the recap of your four-step materiality process. Let's now jump to your second fundamental qualitative characteristics, which is your faithful representation. Faithful representation means the information provides a true, correct, and complete depiction of the economic phenomena that it purports to represent it. When an economic phenomenon's substance differs from its legal form, Faithful representation requires the depiction of the substance, hence the concept of substance over form. Depicting only the legal form would not faithfully represent the economic phenomenon. Faithfully represented information has the following characteristics. We have it has to be complete, neutral, as well as free from error. Completeness, it is when all information in words and numbers necessary for users to understand the phenomenon being depicted is provided. This includes description of the nature of the item, the numerical depiction, your monetary amount, the description of the numerical depiction, the historical cost or fair value, and the explanations of significant facts surrounding the item. So to give you an example of what completeness looks like, so the example in your financial statements, when you look at the inventory line item in the balance sheet, what you're going to see there is only the account title or the chart of account title, inventory, and its amount. However, if you go to its notes to financial statements, uh, elaborated in the notes to financial statements are the types of inventory that the company is holding. So you have your raw materials, you have your work in process inventory, as well as your finished goods inventory. With this, the user is able to determine how much is um, the WIP at the end of a reporting period. Or another example is that you can see what type of inventory method are they using. Are they using FIFO, or are they using the lower of cost or net realizable value? So that's the example of completeness. For neutrality, it is neutral when information is selected or presented without bias. Information is not manipulated to increase the probability that users will receive it favorably or unfavorably. Neutrality is supported by prudence, which is the use of caution when making judgment under conditions of uncertainty. Such, the assets or income are not overstated and liabilities or expenses are not understated. Equally, the exercise of prudence does not allow the understatement of assets or overstatement of liabilities because the financial statements would not be faithfully represented. So your last faithful representation characteristic is your free from error. Free from error does not mean that the information is perfectly accurate in all respects. Free from error means there are no errors in the description and in the process by which the information is selected and applied. If the information is an estimate, the fact should be described clearly, including an explanation of the process used in making that estimate. So we've already done with our fundamental qualitative characteristics. Let's now dwell our attention to the enhancing qualitative characteristics, or your VCAP. So your VCAP, again, you have your verifiability, comparability, understandability, and timeliness. An information is said to be verifiable if if different users could reach a general agreement as to what the information purports to represent. Verification can be direct or indirect. For direct verification, it involves direct observation. So an example of direct verification is the counting of cash or counting of raw materials every year end, or inventory checking. For your indirect verification, it involves checking the inputs to a model or formula and recalculating the outputs using the same methodology. For example, checking the debits and credits in the cash ledger and recalculating the ending balance, or redoing the present value factor table. Your next enhancing qualitative characteristic is your comparability. Information is comparable if it helps users identify similarities and differences between different sets of information that are provided by your single entity but in different periods, or your intra-comparability, or different entities in a single period, your intercomparability. Unlike other qualitative characteristics, comparability does not relate to only one item because a comparison requires at least two items. Also, comparability is not uniformity, meaning like things must look alike and different things must look differently. It would be inappropriate to make different things look alike or vice versa. Although related, consistency and comparability are not the same. Consistency refers to the use of the same methods for the same items. Also, please take in mind that comparability is the goal, while consistency is the means of achieving that goal. For understandability, it is said to be understandable if it is presented in a clear and concise manner. Understandability does not mean that complex matters should be excluded to make information understandable to users, because this would make information incomplete and potentially misleading. Accordingly, financial reports are intended for user for you er, financial reports are intended for users who have reasonable knowledge of business activities and who are willing to analyze the information diligently. And your last is your timeliness. It is said to be timely if information is available to users in time to be able to influence their decisions. Using your obligations and contracts, this is in relation with the concept of time is of the essence. In applying the qualitative characteristics, the fundamental qualitative characteristics are essential to the usefulness of information, meaning information must be both relevant and faithfully represented for it to be useful. For example, neither a relevant information that is erroneous nor a correct information that is irrelevant helps users make good decisions. The enhancing qualitative characteristics only enhance the usefulness of information that is both relevant and faithfully represented, but cannot make information that is relevant or erroneous to be useful. Accordingly, the enhancing qualitative characteristic should be maximized to the extent possible. There is no prescribed order in applying the enhancing qualitative characteristics. Sometimes, one enhancing qualitative characteristic may have to be sacrificed to maximize another. The concept of constraint. The definition of cost is that it is a pervasive constraint on the entity's ability to provide useful financial information. Providing information entails cost, and this can only be justified by the benefits expected to be derived from using the information. Accordingly, an optimum balance between cost and benefit is desirable, such that costs do not outweigh the benefits, or the concept of cost should not exceed benefit. To summarize, Chapter 2, we have your qualitative characteristics. You have your fundamental and enhancing. For your fundamental, you have your relevance, and a entity aspect of it is materiality. And your second fundamental QC is your faithful representation, which has a characteristics of completeness, neutrality, and free from error. For your enhancing, always remember VCUT. It should be verifiable, it should be comparable, it should be understandable, and it should be timely for it to have to be a useful information.